Hello and welcome to my channel, Blended Agendas. I received a text from my niece who sent me a link on the viral story by Risa Tisa on Why the F Did I Get Married? A 50-part video synopsis by Risa Tisa. And usually I don't cover anything like this. But okay, I told her I'd give it, a look. First and foremost, I must say I didn't believe most of her story. I found many inconsistencies. And I'm just going to give you my brief summary of this story. And you may or may not agree with me, but it's just my opinion. Okay. This couple virtually met on Facebook dating site March 4th, 2020. The guy's name, quote unquote, Legion, also known as Jerome, but Legion brought to Reese's attention they also match on the Hinge dating site with him, using a different name and pictures. Okay, now I might get some of the story, some of my summary might be off because I fell asleep a couple of times because it reminded me of a bad Tubi movie. All right, however, now, according to her, Legion lied about attending San Diego State and being on the football team. He stated he also played arena football. He divorced his wife but maintained a good relationship with his stepkids. He was offered a job in Georgia as a VP regional manager for a condiment company. They paid him to live in a studio apartment but was helping him to find a single-family house. He had a company car that was never seen because he didn't want to drive an expensive car in her neighborhood. Okay, Reese's has never been to his place, never called the company directly asking for him. She just had his cell phone number. Okay, Legion lied about his family dynamics, failed to mention all of his wives, and the true reason for divorce. Risa grew up on welfare. I say this not to belittle anyone, but to show when someone comes from a poor background, that's the last place they want to end up. She had a college education, at the time worked for the Georgia State Patrol. She lived in a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath rental. According to her, she was living paycheck to paycheck. Now, Risa always dreamed of going to London, owning a BMW X5 with cognac interior. Okay, their first date was on March 7th, 3 days after their first connection online. They went to a favorite restaurant, the Cheesecake Factory. Now, here's where the saga begins. On her way to the restaurant, Reese's tires blow out on the way. She calls Legion to inform him of the event, and she pulls into a gas station. He tells her to drop the location, and he meets her there. He changes the tire with a donut. She thought that was so sexy. He also tells her that she needs to purchase a tire. She couldn't just drive on that donut. He followed her to a tire place and purchased a tire for her. They finally arrive at the restaurant where he says all the things she wanted to hear, such as marriage, having a family. She talked about they were both dating for marriage, not friends with benefits. Excuse me. After dinner, they sat in his car conversing about life. While in the car, he plays a song by John Legend with lyrics of something like, "I think I met my wife tonight." During the virus lockdown, she said they decided he would move in with her since he had a studio. She claimed she internalized her struggle with this decision because of her church background, saying she would never live with a man unless, they were married. But she didn't want to quarantine by herself. He paid the rent and utility bills. She saw dollar signs when he said he was a regional manager. In her own words, she did not have to worry financially. So her feelings of struggling, living with the man, that went out the window because as long as he was paying the bill, she was okay with not being married at the time. So please keep in mind, this is all the same month of the initial contact. So in a nutshell, he made promises of purchasing her dream house and a fancy car with money he did not have. He portrayed someone he was not. She never met his family, never talked directly to anyone in his family, while he was having conversation with them every day on the phone. And she never been to his place of employment. She followed this man blindly because of the end game, a house, a car, and a trip to London. Now, Risa's story is nothing new. Countless people have been scammed, lied to, lied on, all for a belief of a fairy tale life. We believe in the lie because it serves a purpose, fulfillment. Risa ignored the red flags because she was hesitant to admit she was in an unhealthy relationship or she had made a mistake. She was afraid of the consequences. She didn't want to know the truth at the beginning. Would we have heard about this story had she attained her dream house in a car? Honestly, I believe she would overlook all the other lives of Legion if she would have received her portrayal of a fairy tale life. It only matters how others perceive your life to be, right? What looks good on the outside? Risa should consider herself one of the lucky ones. Others have been ruined financially, physically harmed, or even worse. She was just hurt mentally. My take on this, in the words of Fonnie Willis, a man is not a plan, he's a companion. If you have a man who would take care of you without contingencies, that's great. Most women want a protector and a provider. We are biologically programmed for this. Risa made herself vulnerable to lies. She fell down the rabbit hole. She stayed with Legion because of expectations and ideas. Legion lies will not work on women if they didn't feel like their only worth is his income. I believe also Legion, also known as Jerome, struggled with schizophrenia or some other mental illness. If this story is true, I wish Risa the best with the rest of her life's journey. Now, I say if this story is true because I don't know anyone who starts a diary at the beginning of their relationship because things doesn't sound right. So, like I said, I found too many inconsistencies with her story. But if you believe it, you believe it. I don't. Thank you for listening to Blended Agendas. Hello and welcome to my channel, Blended Agendas.